Hey, how's it going out there, YouTube land? If you can't tell, I'm a little bit bored, a little bit, well, I'm not drunk, but I wish I were. Don't handle firearms while drunk. Don't joke. Okay, guys, it's illegal. And it's stupid. So we're back with a new segment I'm going to be doing. You guys have seen this pistol before, but I promised you guys for the new year a new segment, Total Breakdown. Mentally and everything. So we've been over this before. This is a 1941 P08 LUGER. Of course, everything's out of focus. BYF, Mauser, 41, numbers matching. The only thing different about this one is the barrel. It's a replacement for a Canadian laws, so there's no markings on it. I weathered it with a really light sandpaper to try to match the rest of the pistol. I think I did a pretty good job, but the finish doesn't match. That's just something you can't do anything about. So, as promised, we are going to do a full breakdown on this. As with most things, let's zoom back out to the long shot. So as with most things, clear it, take the magazine out, inspect the magazine, empty. This one doesn't have a bolt hold open. Pull it back, inspect the chamber. Why is it so dark? There we go. Inspect the chamber, chamber's empty, it's safe, let it drop. You don't have to pull the trigger on this one, which is kind of nice. So let's get to the breakdown. First thing I'm going to do, because it's the easiest thing to do, is take off the grips. Grip screw, screwdriver. Screws come out, as they should. Grip comes off, as it would. It's a little oily, but there's the inside of a Black Widow grip. No air bubbles, which means original. Well, good chance it's original. Other grip screw. Sorry, guys. Other grip screw. Comes out. Pretty stubby. A little tricky to make. I had a question about, from one of the viewers, what to do if this is threaded. Stripped, so you can't screw the screw in. My recommendation for myself would be, and this is a bit tricky, but I would fill that hole in with a bit of weld, and very carefully drill that back out using something like a carbide tip, something very strong. So, as usual, put your screws. You can see the spring there. Let's just get down to disassembly, though, shall we? So, back a little bit, down, side plate comes off, upper comes off, or should I say barrel extension. Now, I think I pointed on the other one, the thing you got to watch out for this, that got people killed in the past, which is kind of amazing, but this is a transfer bar that fires the gun. And if the gun is cocked like it is now, you push down on that, it fires. So if there was a round in the chamber, that would have gone off and shot myself, or made myself crap. I don't know which. Alright, guys, so let's get down to the takedown. So for the upper, first thing you want to do is punch that little pin out. Kind of just falls out. It's held in place by the wings on the receiver here. So, but again, this is a crucial part, as I mentioned on the first video. If you are missing this, don't just use like a screw bit or something like that. It's a high tensile steel. And it takes a lot of abuse. So now that you have that, you can lift up on the toggle, pull it back. There is your. You wouldn't. I'm not going to remove anything like the extractor. It's not necessary. It wouldn't be necessary for takedown. So let's get on to the bolt part. So back to here. You have more pins. Okay, I'm not going to do a full disassembly. I kind of lied here, guys. I'm going to do as far as you really need to go in most cases. So one thing I'll show you is important is the firing pin. Firing pin has a little screwdriver slot. You push it in, you rotate. Out comes your firing pin and spring. That tube is now, oh, sorry, here's your firing pin. Wasn't thinking straight there. There's your firing pin, spring, and retainer. You have your extractor there. The extractor is held in with a small pin. There's a spring under there, so you punch the spring out, extractor comes out, punch this out, that link disassembles. There's another link in here, press that, it disassembles. And this this part here, which grabs onto the mainspring, punch that out, it disassembles. I should be actually doing all this as I promised, but I'm just worried about length of time. So I'll get back to that if this video doesn't go too long. The takedown lever, once it's in the down position, is actually pretty easy to come off. I will say be careful because it is held in place by a little detent. Anyways, okay, I'm just going to stop there because that's how it comes out. That's what I was going to show you. The trigger. Slides out. Kind of simple. Trigger slides out. Let me adjust the brightness because this is not bright enough when I have my hands over this thing. So anyways, trigger just slides out the side, similar to the way the, don't lose that, that part fell off, that's the trigger return spring. Just sits on that little guy there. Then you have, it's been a while since I've done this, guys, so bear with me here. So for the magazine release, just pop out that little flat spring there. And that part falls out. A lot of people blame this gun for being overly complicated. I would tend to disagree. So find the right size punch. There's a hole in the bottom here. You can see that's how the tension comes off of that. But there's also a little pin. So I'm just going to reach into my bag of wonder, aka my screwdriver set. Couple light taps. Couple more light taps. Pin comes out. This little stirrup here should come loose at some point. And you can see everything is marked. I mean, Luger's marked everything. They have assembly numbers, they have serial numbers, they have Waffen amps, they got, I mean, you're getting a hard time faking a Luger. So, but careful out there. There are fake black Widow Lugers. Main way to tell is the grip. If the grip is bubbly or shiny, it just, you know, doesn't look right. It should look like Bakelite, like this here. The other question I had too was the person who asked me about the screw said that this section of, and their case wood was gone. So what I would do would be, I would back it with a piece of, a thin sheet of metal, epoxied on there, and then I would epoxy on a piece of wood about the right size and shape, and then go in with a Dremel and sort that out. And your metal would be your backing. You might want to back the whole piece. That way it gives it a little more consistent look, but that's what I would do it. I would like to show you guys how to do that, but it's a little beyond the expanse of this short video. Well, it's not that short now, is it? Of this video here. So reassembly, ejector, ejector back on, pin, take your time, don't rush these things. This is where using punches as your guide really help with things. So the problem there was I just wasn't pushing down hard enough. I'm going to run that punch through that side. There we go. So when you run a punch through it, just helps line everything up. So make sure everything's flat. You want it flush. You don't want one side poking out than the other because something's going to get caught. So just put your punch over it. A few light little taps, lined up. Alright, let's do the firing pin. Firing pin. You can see there's little lugs. Those lugs line up with these openings. So grab your screwdriver. Probably even do this by hand, tell you the truth. Push it in, rotate. There you go. Firing pin, toggle, reassembled. Okay, I'll slide that back into the gun. Or into the... Oh yeah, I didn't get into removing the trigger bar assembly. It's very similar to just essentially you're popping out springs. Oh, damn it, I'll show you guys. So what I've done is I just lift this little spring up here over the trigger bar, and now I'm taking another screwdriver and carefully tapping on the end of that spring. Spring comes out. Trigger transfer bar comes out. I'm not going to remove the plunger. There's a small pin there, but that's how you get your trigger bar out. Trigger bar goes back in. Spring other way around. Spring goes back in. This is where you want to be careful, because you don't want to scratch anything. If I knew where they were, I'd grab my brass punches, but I can't find them, so I'm going to have to skip that. Take my punch. You guys can see this. I'm going to be driving this back. Carefully driving it back. Sorry, my hand's covering it. What I'm doing is I'm carefully driving this back. Clamps down over place. There you go. All good to go again. Alright, so I did that. You guys should be happy. Applaud. I want to hear it. Give me applause. I want to hear applause. Alright. Sliding the toggle linkage back in. all the way forward, of course. You want to make sure. The big pin, the big pin, the big pin. Now, if you notice, there's a little recessed area here, little lip. No little lip. Back together. Flop it down. Done. And of course, boom, boom. The hideous part. This. So what you want to do here is bench block. What I'm doing is compressing. I'm going to try to get this hook to grab there from the inside. Damn it, that hurts. Almost. Got it. All right, so you guys saw the way I did that. I clamped it, used a block. Now I have the hook over that spring. No shortcuts. Always, like, you know, my background in school is basically art, which sounds like a joke, but it's not. And the one thing everyone always asks you, oh, what's the trick? What's the trick? What's the trick to doing an amazing painting? What's the trick to building a robot? You know, always what's the trick? And the sad reality is, in life, there are no real shortcuts. And you know what? I'm going to put that aside for a second. I'm going to pop this guy back in because it's going to... So this part here, that hook grabs onto this part of the... Sorry, that hook grabs onto this bar. So I'm going to put this back in first. I'm sure there are people out there that can do this more elegantly, but I'm like taking the safe route. So that pin... Again, I'm going to use a punch to help align everything. Being a bit of a pain in my butt. You can see how that putting that punch in on the other side really helped aligning everything. What I want to do now is just drive that guy flat. Again, you don't want anything sticking up. You want it flat. All right, that part's on. Okay, got it in. Ugh! All right, that was the hard part. So what I want to do now is, sorry, it's not the greatest shot, guys. You can't really see, but I'm going to try to push that hook down and over that bar. This is, like I said, not the best viewing angle. I apologize. I will maybe see if the close-up is any better. It's slightly different. All right, I'm going to leave it like that, and hopefully, you guys, you can see it. I apologize. But this is definitely one of the trickiest parts of reassembly because it's just the amount of force it takes. I'm going to throw another one of these guys in here to try to bias that thing backwards a bit. Right now, it's the hook is pushing so far up against the frame, you can't get that over it. And there we go. That hook is over that bar. Okay, that went easier than it looked, trust me. All right, so that's the hardest part done. Little notch right there. That fits into. That part slides in. Flat part's up there. Round part down there. And I did it the wrong way, of course. Yeah. All right, now it's back in. Oh my God. Trigger return spring. The big part goes to the back. Won't go any other way, so don't worry about that. Just like to use a little screwdriver to help flatten that spring out. And of course, they say brain fog is a real thing recovering from COVID, and I have to say I believe it is. Just got over COVID. That's how come I haven't seen too many, I wouldn't say proper. I mean, the proper videos are out there, but I'm having trouble making new videos, put it that way. All right, trigger's back in. Takedown lever back in. Make sure it rotates, which it does. Now, the cool thing about, I'm going to go back to a wide shot for this. So, this hook here has to hook on to that little saddle type thing that I was messing with earlier that the mainspring is attached to. So the way to do that is you assemble your firearm partially upside down. When it gets to about there, you can flip it back over. I'll show you again. So too far, nothing's going to happen. You watch the bar there. See the way now it's, well, you can't really see, but it's now under this little piece here. You want this bar to go under there. Like so. Back a little bit. Lock it down. Oh, sorry. Not yet. Side plate on. If my brain works. Yeah, something's not right here. All right. Sorry, that was maybe a weird angle there, but screw. I don't like tightening these down very far at all because they don't need to be. Kind of obvious, huh, guys? I'm just going to do it even without the screwdriver. I'm just going to do it by hand. Literally just snugging that up. On the other side. Snuggy, snuggy. That could use a little more. I will admit that one could use a little more snuggy, snuggy. I'll just cinch that up a little bit. Just cinch it. And we have a reassembled Luger. This is a P08 Black Widow magazine. Plastic bottom, no markings. The thing about this one is this side button gets a little bit loose, so I gotta be careful. I don't want to... Anyways, this one is, I do believe it's waffling out somewhere on it. Or maybe I'm wrong. Either way. You guys notice something? This gun doesn't have the hold open. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's not... I didn't do it. Didn't come with it. So, there you go. I'm going to edit this down so it's not torturously long as I just did. In the meantime, I'm going to go play some video games and shoot people with sniper rifles. Virtually, by the way. YouTube. Not for real. Alright, guys. Again, please like and subscribe. Everybody counts. Everybody's been so supportive and amazing. I want to thank everybody again. I know I do every video, but so far without fail, you guys been you know, great. You've been exceeding my expectations of what a YouTube audience would be. So thank you, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.